my friends, how are you today? I hope you've had a great weekend and we're getting back into the week with a little fall makeup look that's all drugstore. Some new drugstore as well, as I casually hold my little squirrel mug here. I am going to be incorporating a few new things here and there that I've tried, but I just realized on my channel, which is kind of normal for this time of year, I've been doing so many high-end reviews with the different holiday stuff that comes out right now. Last week, that's kind of all it was, so today I want to get back to some drugstore, and I do have a new base product to try out here. I was talking about this on Instagram, and I did share like my first day using it. I love when I do this and it does absolutely nothing for helping the focus. Okay, it's the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. I have it in 2-3 light. I was really in the store going between this one and the light medium. I couldn't figure it out, but I went here and I'm really glad I did. I think it's the right shade for me. But I was just kind of expecting this to be a really like hydrating kind of dewy serum type makeup, but really it's more makeup-y than I expected. And when I posted about on Instagram that I had gotten this, there were actually a lot of people commenting to me that they absolutely love this. This is like their holy grail thing. So it does have the dropper, and I don't know, I feel like I lose all sense of how much I'm actually putting on my face. I apply it pretty freely. And I've put it on with a sponge, but it will definitely have the best coverage if you use a brush, and it's buildable. And it just doesn't make you come away with this real dewy, tacky feel. It's more makeup-y, but it's still really, really light. I'm gonna use my good old expert face brush from Real Techniques. And as you can see, dabbing it on, like I'm not getting super huge full coverage, but I am getting something, that's for sure. Try to distribute the product a little bit. That's the thing. The dropper doesn't seem to literally drop the product that well, but you just kind of like swipe it on, you know. But see how actually like good the skin looks? Like just with that one application, I feel like things evened out a bunch. Again, I don't feel dewy tacky, but it is ultra lightweight. And like I said, okay, if you're looking right here, we're seeing all the things, little dark circle, maybe some freckles. I don't really mind the freckles, but they are kind of a good guidance in terms of how much something's covering. So if I want to go over like that area with just a little more, do a little dab of product here, a little dabberoo right here. You gotta put it in real careful or else it'll goop around the top. And I'd heard people talking about this one on and off, but I don't know. Walmart just did not make a big deal about having it. It was tucked in there just right with everything else, and I didn't remember ever seeing it online, but we found it. That actually helped some of the under eye and kind of evened out any other discoloration there on top of the cheek. Like really pretty. I'm impressed, guys. Thinking about other lightweight things I've talked about recently, you know, I love that Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. This is more coverage than that and more of a matte look on the skin. But again, super light. Like I do feel like I'm really touching my skin instead of feeling like I'm touching a bunch of makeup, which is kind of weird, but like, you know what I'm saying? It feels really natural. So there's that. I made an order off of Catrice's actual website because I realized there were some things there that I wanted to try that Ulta never carried, and Ulta seems to be carrying less and less Catrice, which is so like dumbfounding. This is one of their best drugstore brands that they have. But I got this Catrice Ultimate Camouflage Cream. Yeah, I realized they had a corrector. It's in Brightening Peach, and I just thought, okay, I'm down for trying that. Looks like this. It's not incredibly peachy, as you can see. At a glance, if someone didn't tell me this was peach, I might just think this is a typical kind of light beige concealer. The problem is it's very, very firm. I wish it were creamier. It will brighten me up kind of, but like the texture is not that pleasant to work with. I'm just putting a little bit right here in my deepest part so I can sort of demo it for you. You know, it can brighten up darkness, but why does it have to be so stiff? Like really hard in there. Like what's up with that? And then it kind of looks like it gets a little clingy to some areas. Like if you have any texture or dryness around the inner corner. I didn't really think I did, but this stuff told me I did because it was kind of clinging to it. Not a real big fan of this one. It's unfortunate because they do so many great formulas for face, you know, with their foundations and stuff and other concealers, but this one not so much. So what I am going to do is pull in a different concealer. I'm just going to use this L'Oreal Full Wear. I hadn't reached for this in a while. I wear it in oatmeal, and I just want to get a full conceal going here. So I'm going to put a little down here, a little out here. And this stuff is really good. I mean, it's up there with my e.l.f. It's going to be just a real matte full coverage concealer. For some reason, I'm not pulling in a smaller brush. Look at that brightness on top of the cheek now. And this just kind of reminds me, you know, I don't need full coverage all over the face. Maybe I want a real bright under eye, but it doesn't mean I have to wear something heavy all over at all times. Around the nose. Gosh, that L'Oreal even, you know, did a number on some of the redness around my nose. Okay, really nice coverage there. This, again, reminds me a lot of e.l.f. It's just another drugstore alternative to that I can keep in the rotation. I've had this for a while, though. This isn't really new to me. This, very new to me, surprised me. I like it a lot better than I thought I would, and I'm really glad I tried it. Next, we're just gonna get set for the day with a little Wet n Wild photo focus. You know, I love this powder. Got kids going back to school after a week of fall break this past week. It was really fun. We tried to pack in some fun activities for Nookie and Biddy and Bubba. Of course, Bubba doesn't know any different. He's like, I'm always here. We went to the pumpkin patch. We went out to brunch. We didn't really do a big trip or anything, but we just like, I don't know. I tried to find one like fun, different thing in each day, even if it was just small and local. Look at that. Okay, now I'm really extra super matte after all those steps. And then another thing that I got off of the Catrice website, something I'd never seen, or, well, had I ever seen this on Ulta's? Or did I just overlook it? Triangle Artist Contour Stick, and it's in the shade 10 Warm Brown. And it's funny, it's just like Hourglass type design. Feels a little cheaper in the hand, I must say, but the texture of the stick is pretty easy to work with. As you can see, I'm streaking on some where I would want to contour and just kind of like, you know, around the forehead area. That's all I'll do. It's pigmented, it's creamy, it's easy to blend. I just take this little brush from Sephora. The actual size is the, what is it, the 57 or the 56? I'll put it down in the info box. But it's a great little size for so many things on the face. It could blend foundation, it could blend concealer, basically any cream step, honestly. I love pulling it out for cream bronzer or cream blush. Look at how easy I'm taking care of this, not pressing hard. Trying to not let that dip down too low. Lovely, okay? Really pretty. Great tone. It may not have quite all the pigment and color intensity of M Cosmetics, but it's a really good cream stick option. Guys, I am going to throw in one non-drugstore thing that I want to test out a little bit more. It's this Too Faced Hot Cocoa limited edition bronzer. This comes in like a little pouch with a plumping lip color. And this is what it looks like. It's really cute. This little face right here had overspray on it, but that went away like immediately. But otherwise, smells like chocolate Soleil, which is really nice. And I'm just kind of swirling it all together. You have this big white patch in there that if you get some of that on your brush, it seems to make the whole bronzing more subtle. But yeah, it's not super dark bronzer. It's just giving me medium vibes. You guys are like, well, you just contoured. Why are you going over this again? But technically, I'm kind of setting it. And you guys, I did so much organizing over the weekend. I had this mission, I had this idea in mind, and it was honestly kind of inspired by someone I saw on TikTok. They were talking about how like making your home your, I don't know if the word they used was sanctuary, but you know, really trying to make sure that your space doesn't contain a bunch of things that, you know, add stress to your life, and make it a place that like further calms you and soothes you. And I thought about our like master suite area, and you know, it's got our bedroom, our bathroom, and a big closet in there. And I just thought if I could declutter and do a real cleanup number on this whole area, I would feel so much better about things. So it started during the nap time period on Saturday, and then Mom and Dad had the kids after that through dinner time to their house. So it went like I started in the bathroom, I went through my whole cabinet, I cleared stuff out, I went through my shower, like stuff that just been hanging out in the shower that didn't need to be there. Like, clean out your shower, you know, there's so much stuff that's probably there that you haven't even touched in a while, doesn't need to be there taking up space. I went through drawers, and then in the process of that I also like deep clean stuff too. And then in the evening I moved on to the closet, and I got rid of a ton of old shoes, shirts, clutter that just accumulated there that wasn't even mine. And I was real pleased with how things were going. By Saturday night, I'm just like, you know how it is after you freshly clean a room, you just kind of want to hang out and look at what you've done and just be proud of it. But I knew that I had the bedroom still. So Sunday, I dug into that stuff. I had a bunch of like baby stuff. I realized that I had a changing pad on our dresser. It's been there for 7 years. 7 years, like from Nookie being a newborn now through Bubba. And obviously Bubba's still in diapers, but from about a couple months ago, he started really resisting the changing table because he's just so like active when you change his diaper, and he'll kick at the mirror and it worried me that he was going to just fall off of there. So I just change him on the bed. Easier for everyone, and oddly, like, I guess he doesn't feel as confined and he doesn't even feel the need to try to roll around. But like, I removed that sort of pad thing, you know that thing that you put a baby on to keep them on the changing table, and now that's gone. I just have the basket of some things. For whatever reason, even though he sleeps in his own room, our bedroom is kind of like the morning get ready spot, you know? But anyway, the room is looking so much less like baby storage here and there and more like our bedroom, you know? So why am I taking off on this? I'm not even doing makeup now. I just felt really good about it. I feel so good about it. I got a couple of new Catrice powder blushes. These are amazing. I got the one that says Nude Peach. They say this is a new shade, and this one shows up so much more than you would expect. I probably have to use this today because this one, Glistening Pink, by the way, it ain't glistening at all. It's matte with maybe, I don't know, a tinge of satin finish. And I like how they have little imprints here. This says Go Win Cheer. This one says Focus on the Good. So I'm gonna use the Nude Peach because I think you need to see this. This looks so blah. So blah. Pick it up on your brush. I mean, okay. So pretty. It's kind of making me think maybe a little Tarte Exposed a little bit. Oh, I just think it's such a satisfying blush. I mean, this would be fair, light, medium skin tones. Tan skin tones, you'd have to do a little building, I think, to show it. But look, like, it really does have color payoff that you wouldn't expect necessarily out of that pan. I love it. And a matte blush, as I've said before, can be so perfecting to the skin too, especially if you like go in at the end and you add a little more. This does the same kind of thing those Amazonian clay blushes do in terms of perfecting this area. Digging forever for a highlighter brush. I found this one, but for some reason I couldn't find my Real Techniques one. I don't have a brand new highlighter, so I'm going to use this Believe Beauty in Pink Pearls. Really nice highlight. Nice gentle glow. Love that. Believe Beauty is so good. I've been playing with some of the skincare stuff. I really like the in-shower, it's like a in-shower facial kind of deal. Kind of reminds me of that Aveeno one. You know, it's kind of like scrubby, but you leave it on your skin. Feels a little cooling and tingly, and then you wash it off. I've really liked that, and I feel like my skin has been a little smoother because of it. There's a light kind of gel cream that I have, which is nice, but maybe not like my #1 thing I'm looking for in terms of a nighttime cream. And then I realized I think they're selling a thicker cream, but my store just didn't have that. So that's what I really want to try. There's a toner mist that's good. I haven't used my sheet mask yet, but I have that. So we got the highlighter on, got the blush on. I'm going to use my Wet n Wild Natural Finish setting spray. This is a great drugstore setting spray. The fan just hits you everywhere. Perfect fan of mist. Only took a couple and I felt like it got everywhere on my face. For brows, I'm going to use this one from Revlon that I've been liking so much. It's the Color Stay Brow Creator, which has a skinny brow pencil on one end. It also has a spoolie, and it has a little like spring-loaded powder dabber. It's a really easy way to fill in the brows. This is when I should have told my story about my cleanup over the weekend. Like, sometimes projects feel big and you don't even feel like setting one foot into them because it's like, I know this is going to take me a while. But if you can just uncover the time to get it done, like, you feel so much better after you've done it. But I also know the thing of like not feeling like you have any possible time to uncover. Like, you'd only be able to maybe get it started and you'd feel like, well, what if I don't get it finished because I don't have that much time? So I completely understand. And some of my stuff that I did was a long time coming. I mean, I was putting away, like, I had a whole drawer in our bedroom devoted to little baby blankets and stuff, and like stuff that pads that I would put on the changing table, and burp cloths. It's like, when was the last time I reached for a burp cloth for this kid? So many things that didn't need to be taking up that valuable space. And it really wasn't that hard once I got started to just say, okay, I'm gonna bag this stuff up. I can donate it somewhere. I can do something with it. I've got a cousin who has a new little baby boy, and maybe they could use or might want some of the like the clothes I'm decluttering and supplies and stuff. So there we are. I've gotten pretty much filled in there with pencil, and you can stop there. Like, the pencil is really plenty. I'm taking my little spoolie and just evening it. If you have any spots where you're like, you know, I need a little bit more, I didn't quite get that how I wanted it, you just take this little powder dabber. It literally just twists off from there, and you can just whoosh over the brows like that. Isn't that cool? And then I'm just going to use a smidge of my Brow Fast Sculpt from Maybelline just to help the little hairs stand up a bit more, stand at attention. But now I'm looking at different places in the living room, and I'm like, you know, even though I did some big cleanup in there, I'm seeing some more stuff. Like, I love Bub. He's got an area between the chair that he often sits in and an end table where he just puts things. Like, just, okay, he opened up a box that had some, okay, the little box goes there. Okay, there's a little instruction pamphlet that came with such and such. Okay, that's just going to get dropped down there. And suddenly we've got this big accumulation of things that have just, like, dropped down in this zone. And I'm like, okay, this is on you. You got to do something with this, because I don't know where this stuff goes. I am putting on my Milani eyeshadow primer, and then I'm going to use one of these little new Essence 6-pan palettes because I've gotten a lot of questions about them. And I did get a PR package that had them in there. I had one break that pretty much eliminated a whole pan in one of the different shades. That was in the mauve one. It's a very cool, like, light mauve kind of palette. There's a blue one, there's a bronzy one, a taupe one. Even more than the bronze, if we're talking warm neutral, I actually prefer the balance of shades in the coral Me Maybe, because this has a nice dark shade. I used this yesterday. I really liked it. I thought the colors went on beautifully. I thought the shimmers stood out. There's 3 shimmers and then 3 mattes. So it was a pretty basic look, you know. I'm not jumping up and down over its uniqueness, but if you're looking for that color scheme, like, I thought it was really nice. And the price on these I know is really good. Let me check, actually. They're $3.99. I don't really love these over my Wet n Wilds, though. They have 5-pan palettes. They have the 10-pan, which of course is $1 more. $1 more than this, and you could get a Wet n Wild 10-pan palette. I'm going to use the Dancing Green one. This looks promising. It looked like it had a good amount of range in it with a nice deep dark green. So I'm going to take the first logical step, which is to take the matte mid-tone, which looks like kind of a khaki green, like maybe a really grungy greenish brown. And I'm just going to get that in my crease, because that feels safe. And, you know, I'm interested in getting that little bit of definition there to get things going. See, no concerns about the way these apply. I'm not getting a lot of fallout, hardly any, when I go into the product. And then the blending is nice and easy. Then maybe I'll do that little highlighter shade. This is Pearly. I've only got 2 mattes in here, really, because this has a little pearl finish. A little more powdery there. And then we're going to see what this is all about. This is the big shade I'm wondering about here. That goes on nice. Reminds me a lot of Corduroy in the Once palette. Got that forest green quality. See me flipping my brush because I know I've got some product right on the tip of it and kind of letting it get to the crease. This is a nice way to have some color that's not that loud, you know. Think about your deep, rich shades. Navies, plums, dark greens. Great time of year to start working with those. And they're just not as loud as a pastel or a bright mid-tone color, you know. Really like that. Okay, I'm going to blend. I'm really liking that tone. And now I'm wanting to take some more green down low. I'm thinking about actually pulling in, I've got a greenish eyeliner pencil. This is Jade from Revlon Color Stay. I'm thinking about just popping this down low. Ooh, that's a really good tone. Harder to find this tone than turquoise, which is interesting in terms of like just what they put out with eyeliners. Like olive, but not so dark that it doesn't stand out. Really nice. I'm even gonna smudge with the smudger tip, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of that powder over it too. Oh, I dig that shade. I'm leaving that out so I don't forget about it. Love that. Okay, back to the green, our star of the show at this point. And still, you know, it's not a loud green, but it's definitely there, and it's different from the blacks and the browns. Now we're looking at what's left here, and we're thinking, okay, what do we want to do? I want to use this really light mint green down here. We've got two other options up top that look like they might have a little more, I don't know, maybe just like they were mixed with a little more of a bluish tone. I tell you, if you have your Once palette, you could really get this look because I've got both these shades in there. It's pretty though. It's applying well off the brush. Just a little flaky, but not bad. Kind of wondering what a little pat on with the finger would do. Oh, hello. It would make it quite a bit more intense. Just a tiny bit more on the finger and a little swiping motion. It's like, yes, we're here to play. Okay. Nice. Now I'm going to use my NYX Epic Ink liner. I'm going to do that across the top. So really, it was a good experience with this little palette, I think. Ooh, I do have some fallout that I need to dust away. But if it's coming right down to it and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to spend more than $5 on a drugstore eyeshadow. What do I get? Get a Wet n Wild 10-pan palette. Even more variety. I think even better quality. Even though this wasn't bad, I think that's a little bit better. Get Nude Awakening. Get, you know, if it were in a green type vibe. I always forget the name of this one, but get the one called Lights Off. It's got a great dark forest green and a number of fun smoky shades in there. But okay, next let's talk about mascara. I found a new one from Milani, new to me anyway. The package said new. It's called Dangerous Lengths, and I kind of was surprised about how it went on. It seemed like kind of a dry formula, and the brush is kind of strange. Some really long spiky bristles and maybe a few shorter ones like deep down in there, but it's kind of a dry formula, so I really felt like I was working it in, and I ended up liking the length that I got. But what was dangerous about the lengths, Milani, was that they were hitting my, like, occasionally coming in contact with my brow bone and smudging. So I think it was really holding the curl well for that to even happen, and then smudges. So, But another kind of similar formula to that, I tried this Catrice Rock Couture Extreme Volume Mascara, 24 hour. God help me if I've got my mascara on for 24 hours. But this is kind of similar in that it's a dry formula that takes a little work to build up, but I haven't noticed any smudging with this yet. Really short bristles and a lot of them. And do we have any? Not any right at the tip. But anyway, I'm going to do the Catrice today because I just trust that a little bit more. I got a little green on my shirt today with this my fall flower thermal that you guys have seen me in many a time. So I kind of find myself using the tip of the brush where a little more product like is collecting. And I get that going, and then I use these super cleaned off bristles to help it on through a little bit. I'm getting beautiful definition. You may not be able to really tell on camera, but like I'm seeing every lash that I have. Now I'm like, okay, thank you for that. But I would like a little more thickness. Try to work whatever's on the tip through. Getting a little bit more. See that? I'm not upset with this mascara. It just takes a little more doing than I would like. A little more time and energy. But one thing it doesn't do, it does not chunk your lashes together. I'm not sure if I've ever tried a Catrice mascara before this. And it's making me work for it. It's making me really mess with it a while. But I do like the end result. Okay, I'm gonna let that get just like a little more dry. Not that it's a real goopy formula, but I'm just gonna let it sit there for a minute. Put my Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions down here. And then maybe go back for just a little more. Push it just a little further. I don't have anything light in my lower inner rim. Whatever will I do? Next up, we're gonna do lips, and I found a couple more of these Milani matte lipsticks that everybody's loving. I must say they could do a better job of labeling these as such in their display, labeling the matte ones, and like it just barely says in tiny print on like the outer packaging that they're matte. But I have two others that I put back in my display here. Yeah, I have a dark one called Passion and a lighter one called Pleasure, and then this one is kind of like a pinky nude type color called Secret. They look so like light, just incredibly matte and almost powdery in the tube, but that's Secret, really nice shade. The other new one I got is Desire, so I thought I'd wear that one today. Real brown. They're matte, but they're creamy. They don't feel too dry, and they're definitely like super full color. I'm gonna clean that up ever so slightly. Any excuse to pull this guy out, right? My Revlon chocolate lip liner. That's a great match. I'm just gonna clean up the bottom a bit. Nice. I need more blush. And again, this is a great time to do it because you're kind of seeing the finished look and you're able to see that even more perfected look right there on top of the cheek when you put your blush on. A matte blush, that is. It kind of does something in the pores and all that. That's Nude Peach, y'all. Nude Peach. So it's interesting, as we really dig into the Catrice range, like I said, things beyond what I could get on Ulta's website, there are some misses revealed to me through that. The mascara, it's decent, but like, I don't want to have to take that long to do my mascara every day. That corrector, that could have been so much better if it could have just been more creamy and maybe a little more excuse me, pigmented peach color. I did, however, like this Triangle Artist contour stick. I thought that was really good. You know, I love those blushes. This was a big hit for me today. The True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum really blew me away and impressed me. These Milani matte lipsticks, if you can find them, you'll see the word matte on the outer, like, you know, the packaging that you have to peel off. They'll say matte there, but they don't say it on the bottom, and they may not say it anywhere in the display. If you need a good drugstore, like green eyeliner, deep olive, this one called Jade from Revlon Colorstay is beautiful. The Essence palettes, again, I've tried a couple. I've gotten decent looks with them. I'm not saying I don't like this look. I think it's good, but I'm not thinking that they're any better than the Wet n Wild, and it's like for $1 more, you could get a lot more eyeshadow bang for your buck, I think. And beware of the fallout, because I did have quite a bit to dust away there, so you want to look up close at yourself and make sure it's not like right down in here. But yeah, I enjoyed the look. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I so appreciate your kind feedback, your sweet words that you share with me in the comments section. Thank you for being part of this family here on my channel. Thank you for sharing a little bit about your own lives here, because I feel like we're all thinking about and praying for each other. So thank you so much. I love you, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.